did they not announce the attendance? They did not, because it's sort of a black eye on them, the fact that they didn't do 40,000 both nights. I know that WWE is like kicking themselves for that. Now, as a fan, was it fucked? No. I mean, it looked awesome from our standpoint. I don't know. Maybe people will come out with videos in the arena complaining about like being there and then, oh, our seats got moved to the other side. And I don't know. But what I will tell you is that it looked dope. The crowd was there. They were hot. They were fiery. And they weren't like the craziest crowd of all time. But no, they did not do an attendance announcement, probably because they also, I mean, there was for sure some giveaways. Every wrestling show, there's some goddamn giveaways, but let's just say they do 35,000 tonight and tomorrow. It's a W. Most, if you look at historically, SummerSlam draws like the average is like 14K or something like that. In the last couple years have been like 70,000 2 nights in a row, and like fucking there's 100,000 2 nights in a row, and or if you combine the 2 nights in a row, we're just like used to that the last couple years as wrestling fans, but that's not the norm for SummerSlam. It never really has been. 20,000's like, holy fuck, for a SummerSlam. So 2-night event over 30,000, 35,000 both nights is fucking crazy, but they did not announce it because, again, Meltzer and them are going to be like, oh, it's because they're ashamed of it, Brian. But like, it's not. Well, maybe it is a bit of that, honestly. They're just ashamed they didn't hit 40K both, or they save it for tomorrow and go the total attendance for both nights. They'll be super proud of we did 70K over both nights, you know, and what I'm saying is a bunch of bullshit. So we'll find out tomorrow. Let's kind of go over and like review what we've watched here tonight. Let's just start from the bottom. We're going to go in no particular order. We're just going to go in like what this card's showing me. So Fatal Influence versus Nikki, Brie, and Paige, the 6-woman tag match. Again, it was like a piss break match. You know, the Bellas are working fine. I think Brie does pretty solid work. Paige as well. Their tag run wasn't like super memorable, but it wasn't unforgettable, and they both were putting on good matches, I'd like to say. You know, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, you couldn't do anything longer than I think what you did with that tag team. Strictly from when you see the younger tag teams, they're so much more athletic and dynamic from a move standpoint that the Bellas and Paige just, you can tell they're from a different generation.
Yeah, and so Nikki and Brie just do the heel turn, which was what was intended, I believe. Like when Nikki came back, she was a heel, and then, or I think it was like kind of babyface. She flipped heel, then out of nowhere, Brie comes back, and then they're kind of babyface just out of nowhere. Nikki gets hurt. Brie's forced to team with Paige. It's the nostalgia act. They turn on Paige. Paige will team up with somebody, whoever gets called, whatever, but we're going to see like Paige and someone versus the Bellas, and then Fatal Influence can kind of move on from all of this after this. And Paige ate the pin, so the motivation is there. The match was honestly what the fuck ever, but the right people won. Fatal Influence won, and that's who should be winning. Like, again, you're trying to make stars. Oba, Royce Keys, Fatal Influence, they all got W's. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to build up Fatal Influence right now because, again, Nikki Bella's done at the end of 27. Brie, I think, is even lucky to have come back to WWE, in my humble opinion. Paige will be there for a lot of years, you got to think, but also she's kind of a star on a part-time Legends thing, even though she's really fucking young. And Fatal Influence will be there the next 15 to 20 years. So you want to build them up and give them big, notable wins like this as a trio, because this is the other thing when people go, oh, real tag teams should win tag matches. Yes, and trios should win fucking trios matches if you're going to have them. You know what I mean? Like, real trios got to get the dubs. Speaking of 6-man trios matches, the Bloodline took on Keys, Knight, and Sikoa, and the heel Bloodline that are fully heel took the L against Keys, Knight, and Sikoa. Sikoa's awesome. A breakout fucking babyface performance, I think, for him, where like he's got the crowd yeeting for him and everything. He's just hijacking his brother's shit. Keys did his thing. Crowd wasn't too crazy for him. LA Knight's over like Rover. He got the pin. Maybe finally they're turning the tides on LA Knight, and they're like, here, dude, you're getting, like, you're next up. Like, you'll get one against Roman or something. Like, we got to fucking, maybe not world champion, but they're going to push him. Maybe he's the one who got the pin. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm with it. I mean, I think if anything, man, the breakout from maybe the whole night, but in particular that match, was definitely Solo. Like he had the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand, man. They got to find something to do with Keys. And yes, LA Knight's going to be fun, man. The minute they put any kind of gold around his waist, he's going to freaking skyrocket.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And that match too was like whatever, it was what it was. Both of those matches, if they went, those are on Saturday Night Main Event or those are on the Go Home SmackDown, I'd be like, okay, whatever. Yeah. Now for like the real pay-per-view stuff, but we kick things off with Liv and EO. We'll get there in a second. Gunther versus Aldis. Now, I think for me, if you include the aftermath of both matches, it's neck and neck for the Hell in a Cell Brock Oba or Gunther Aldis. I really liked Gunther Aldis. I think match-wise, that was my favorite match of the night. Moment-wise, obviously Brock Oba. That after the match thing, but also with Aldis, he had a great moment with Mickey James and his kid after the match. I'm assuming that was his kid, right? So
random kid out of the audience.
Yeah, otherwise whose kid is that? Someone finds your kid. But Gunther Aldis, dude, they fucking threw down, and I thought that was a solid match. And Aldis, I don't want to like pull a Dave and diminish the WWE roster, but he looked as good as any superstar on that main roster right now, if not better.
Yeah, he did. He's in fantastic shape. He looked good in the ring. I mean, you couldn't ask for more out of a guy that hasn't wrestled regularly in probably 3 years, 4 years, whatever that is.
Yeah, he got all of his shit in too. He hit all of his fucking moves. Gunther did his thing, and if you're mad at the choke out finish again, that's the point. You're supposed to get mad at Gunther choking everybody
He's a heel.
out. Yeah, it's Iron Sheik camel clutching people. Like he just chokes motherfuckers out, and they tap. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And again, I fantasy Mark booked an angle where I want to see this on SmackDown. I want to see Aldis there in a suit. Pierce approaches him, and then Aldis is like, "What are you doing here? I've assumed my position." And then Pierce goes, "Look, I talked to higher up WWE officials, and I'm here to offer you a job." And Aldis goes, "Well, I have my job as the GM of SmackDown." And then he goes, "Nope, I'm willing to offer you a full-time position as a full-time wrestler. If you don't want to accept this, you can stay on as GM. But if you accept this, you have to relinquish your GM responsibilities, and I'll take over till we find a suitable replacement." Aldis goes, "I'll consider it." And then he shows up on Raw or something the next week, signs his fucking thing, and then someone jumps him, and then he's fucking boom, he's off to the races or something like that. I don't know. But solid match. Probably my favorite of the night. Liv versus EO. Now, this match will go overlooked, but they fucking cooked, bro. They did really good. Liv was awesome. EO
good way to start the show.
Yes, Liv retained her title. No shenanigans, really. Just a solid title match. And EO just looking fantastic, putting on stellar matches with everybody. Liv is awesome. The finishing sequence there of like the Oblivion, but then EO fucking like front handsprings out of it, and then or like neck springs out of it, lands, hits the rope, code breaker, hits the rope again, Oblivion, 1, 2, 3. I fucking loved that finish, dude. I loved it. I'll remember that one for a long time. Yeah. Hell in a Cell. Oba Brock. I mean, what a way to end the show. Brock saying, "I'm the past. This is the future." Obviously off the cuff moment. Brock laid his gloves down again. I think this was obvious. The most obvious match of the night was Brock is fucking losing and passing the torch in his hometown. Yeah. And
they weren't in Saskatchewan.
Yeah. The Hell in a Cell, though. They didn't really use the cell. It was kind of trivial and meaningless. However, like if you're just looking at and you're factoring in all of the, I guess, symbolism and all of the like passing of the torch. It's SummerSlam. That's where Rock passed the torch to Brock. It's Hell in a Cell. That's where Taker passed the torch to Brock. He's undefeated in the cell. He's passing the torch. He hit him with the laughing thing. I love that they ripped the canvas off because just went, oh shit. Like that's the memorable moment. They didn't go that long. Again, I got a message from Husey saying Brock looks injured to me. I don't know if that's true. He was elbow padded up, though, so who knows why. And the wing stop chairs are kind of cringe, but it doesn't take away from whatever action was going on.
No, and like you alluded to, the symbolism was the main thing here, man.
Yeah.
Like, that was great to see, like you said, the Undertaker part and everything with the passing of the torch, man. Like, that's what it was about. It had the cage was more had more symbolism than it did utility.
and I've chronicled this on PWT for like, I feel like months now at this point. I don't even, weeks and weeks for sure, but like also Brock squished John Cena at fucking SummerSlam. He hardwayed Randy Orton's with the fucking elbow at a SummerSlam, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's where he just fucking went off and did the shoot. So he's main evented more SummerSlams. That was his 10th one than anyone in history, and he goes out losing to Oba. Will we see him in Saudi? Early guess, yeah, I think so. And the way commentary was like, if it's the last time we see Brock, but I don't. This is, you guys want to know my prediction? I could see Brock winning the fucking Rumble this year, and then going to Saudi WrestleMania, and then putting over whoever the fuck he puts over for the title. I'm not even joking. Because who else, unless there's another guy like Oba that he picks and goes, I want to feud that guy until Mania, and I just don't see who that guy could be. We already got the Omos one or whatever, and he's in
Yeah,
AAA
there's nobody.
So I could see Brock legitimately out of nowhere, shockingly winning this coming up Rumble, and then going to, okay, we'll say this year's because it's like WWE calendar. So let's just, when I say this year, because I know I'm going to say it, just don't nitpick me. I'm talking about WWE's calendar, WrestleMania calendar. This year's Rumble, he'll win it, and then this year's Mania, he will fucking fight the champ, put over maybe Roman, who's been one of his toughest foes. Maybe we don't know, dude. We don't know if Jacob Fatu maybe has the title, and then Jacob Fatu fucking by that time like goes over on Brock, or maybe Gunther has the title and then does retire Brock or something for good. Like we don't know yet. We'll see how it shapes up, but early prediction, I think he'll be at Saudi. We'll see him a couple more times, but like whenever you see Brock, just that's his retirement in that city, John Cena farewell style. The same way with AJ. They didn't make a big fuss about it, but people didn't realize for a year they were watching his fucking retirement tour as well, you know? So just be ready for that with Brock. He's done, like, if not tonight, Saudi Mania, I could see him just wrapping it up. The main event that isn't the main event, but was sort of the main event. CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. So the match was pretty goddamn good. It was a very slow pace. They did some outside table spot action, which was all good on the announce table. Punk and Rhodes really gave it their all. Was it Punk's finest match we've seen of late? No, we've seen the triple threat with Roman and Seth was crazy. Fast forward another year and like him versus Roman was a crazy fucking match. He's had crazy over the last few years. He's had insane matches with Drew and shit, like amazing, amazing matches. Was it a solid match though? Abso-fucking-lutely. I love that Randy Orton came back, hit the RKO. He's going to continue feuding Cody Rhodes. So that's a big money matchup that, again, there's legacy there. There's history, pun intended. And they can fight, and that's a big match for any pay-per-view or any show that does not need a title. And now Punk. So on SmackDown, you have Rhodes, you have Orton. Now, what does Punk go on and do is the real question.
It's got to be Drew or KO.
Yeah, it's got to be Drew again. I could see that. It's got to be him getting involved with Sammy again, and then KO comes back, and then it turns into Punk KO. You know what I mean? Like somehow maybe KO has Sammy's back, and then however they work that out, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's got to be Drew and KO or likely Punk's like next to big rivals. You got to think, and I'm here for that. I'm here for Drew and Punk over the WWE. Now, does Drew get the win over Punk? I don't think so. I think whoever his next challenger is, he still carries it for a while past that. And it'll be a minute before we see him drop this shit. If at all, like we don't know if Brock's last match isn't against Punk for the title at WrestleMania in Saudi. Like we don't really fucking know. They could drag it out that long. Punk is over like Rover. And thank God Rhodes has kind of something else to do that's not like it does feel weird with him not having the title or fighting over it, but he needs to really go deep in his bag and bring more of that like story and his history and that sort of shit into his feud with Randy Orton, and just ditch the whole fucking McAfee jelly roll. Like I don't want to see any of that. I want to see Rhodes and I want to see Orton throw down and it play out how it should have the first time around, going through their history and whatnot. But Orton's still officially a heel, even though everybody just popped for him like fucking crazy. And then he winked at the camera. That was epic as fuck.
That was great.
So overall, I grade this show an A-. So again, like I did yesterday, I'm just going to kind of go in order of what's on the poster. Trick versus Corbin. It was a lackluster match. Trick Williams fucked up by like being the guy to put the table out there and all of that. It was just very heelish, but then Corbin is the heel. The crowd wasn't overly into it. The match was whatever. I feel like at least they protected the end of days. And I mean, I guess it's good that Corbin won a title. I really figured they would book him in like a Rusev role where he's just kind of there to get the young next generation over. And Trick losing this, I mean, let's say he's going on a honeymoon, sure. Fucking Rhea's injured and they didn't vacate the fucking belt, so let Trick sell more furry belts. And why'd they give him a legacy title if he ain't even, that's not even a legacy? And now we're just brushing past like they had momentum with the Mello and Trick thing. In all honesty, they should probably just reunite Trick with Mello and Yachty. And they should be feuding like Big Cass and Enzo for the fucking tag titles. Like that would be cooking, WWE. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's good that Corbin has a belt, I suppose. Maybe he's going to be booked as some fighting champion and he just is end of daysing everybody. But I don't really see where they're going with the U.S. division. It just all kind of seems mid. The women's ladder match. Now, the ladder match was mostly just sloppy shop. It was one of the least memorable ladder matches probably ever. And a lot of it was kind of slop. And you have Lash in there who's green, and she's really good in the ring, but she's not good in this sort of environment yet. And then you have Jade in there with the same criticism. And then you have Charlotte, who like I don't really give a fuck if she wins the belt. Chelsea Green was absolutely the right call, and the crowd went ape shit for her. Again, Canada Light. Minnesota is Canada Light, buddies. Okay, they play puck down there, but they're probably up there for most of you guys there. Holy shit there, buddy. Right? They like cold ones. They like to play puck. They live in igloos. Chelsea Green winning fucking ruled. Okay. Danhausen versus Dom with the human monies on the pole. That was short. I don't know. The mini Hausens and all of that. It's starting to grow old. Some of the gags. And especially when you have Miz and Kit Wilson and you got fucking Zack Ryder out there. Like, okay, Joe Hendry runs out. I get it. He's squatted up with you. How about Joe Hendry runs out and then like Roxanne Perez kicks him in the balls or something? Or like the ladies run out and then they fucking kick Joe Hendry in the balls, or they're like shielding him off. And then Zack Ryder's music hits and he comes out and he starts hitting the woo-woo boots on people and shit like that. That would have been fucking cool. But they're just kind of like, that shit's all just in the back of your mind. And who knows if Kit Wilson or The Miz will ever be normal again, or what's the point of them being shocked? And like, shouldn't Danhausen control them? That should be the next step. Instead, he went to like the pyro in the booty again. Okay, we've seen that gag. And that's also like an outlandish gag that they should have maybe, if you're going to do on a pole, they should have never done the fireworks spot yet with Danhausen until this match. Then I would have popped. Everyone would have been like, oh, fuck, that's funny. The pyro just goes off, but they've already done it on SmackDown and shit. We don't need his stupid gags established, right? His gags work better when it's like, what the fuck is he? He puts a cat in the thing and then Carl Anthony Towns comes out. That's hilarious. Now we're going back to the pyro guys in his pocket. Like, I don't know. They should have just saved that gag entirely for this event, for Dom to lose an on the pole match. It was a whatever match. Finn versus Sammy ended up turning into Finn versus Sammy versus Gunther in the number one contender slot versus fucking KO. And that ruled, and KO won. He's the number one contender. That's a money match that was teased that thank fuck we're getting to. It just worked out so well. They teased it on SmackDown like well over a year ago, a year and a half ago. And now we're getting Punk KO. I'm here for that. I love that. That'll be a good little back and forth feud. Sammy will try to interject, try to get involved. KO and Sammy can then go off and feud after the whatever the fuck. But as a title defense for Punk, that fucking rules. And that'll be a notch on his belt. And I love that. And again, Owens was there. he played it the right way. He hurt his neck and then he was just visible. He didn't play the I'm going to go hide like the Sandman and then come back and surprise everybody. No, he's been to events. He's shown up in NXT shit. He's been at all the big PLEs and whatnot. And he's in the socials. You know, he's not shy about where he's been at backstage and all that shit. So him returning, like it was still a shock because when people were like, oh, he's in Minnesota for SummerSlam, it's like, all right, he's fucking doing the fan fest, or like he's been to a bunch of shit so far. So that was really good. It was a good swerve. I didn't like, here's the thing, Lincoln convinced me too. Like Gunther being put in because he beat Aldis and you know, Gunther sort of showed, like he acknowledged after the match, he kind of gave Aldis the nod and like, oh, he was tough, whatever. You know, Aldis took his licks like a man, and then he is the GM again. He tried to resign. Triple H was like, no, you're working here. So then Gunther, you know, in a gesture of good faith, and we can continue to do business together. Let's not cross that line with each other again. Now you know that I can fight, so respect me, I'll respect you. Aldis puts Gunther in this number one contender match because Aldis did kind of fuck him out of a number one contendership. Okay, that works for me. That works for me. I'm convinced. But I was kind of like, what the fuck? But then when they announced KO, the roof blows off the bitch. They put on a great fatal four-way. KO gets the dub. That and Chelsea Green were like moments of the night for me, and not just because I'm a Canuck there, buddy. Holy fuck there, bud. Penta versus Gable, I think, was just, I had so much high hopes for that match, and it was underwhelming. Not that they didn't have a solid match, but you could have put 5-10 more minutes on that shit. Maybe not 10. That's a long time. 5 to 7 more minutes, let's say, on that match. You could have given us way more on that match. You could have had Gable's arm hurting and Penta's ankle hurting. And they just kind of rushed through some shit, and they wanted to get their shit in, and they wanted to have a show-stealing moment. Like, I'll take Gable, no mug root beer dog, and his family come into the ring and just give the match 3 to 5 more minutes and let them really fucking cook. Like, I expected so much. I expected that match to rival Seth versus Roman as far as what's match of the night. But instead, I think I was liking the four-way more than that. I got to be honest. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully they can like have a banger of a rematch or whatever. I don't know. Reigns and Rollins, the match was very solid. The 10 count on the outside just because they finally went through a table. Why didn't you 10 count them when they're brawling through the arena? I get it's at the ref's discretion, but we got to cut this shit out in all companies. We got to cut out the no fucking counting. You either count or you fucking don't, or you establish, hey, it's a title match. Countouts don't apply to title matches or something like that. Because it's just stupid. They're both down, then they start counting, and then Roman fucking hits the ring at a 10. But it's like, is he counting because you're both down? Or is he counting because you're out of the ring? Because he wasn't counting before. Ref's discretion, I get it. They let title matches go, I get it. But I don't know, man. The best storytelling they did in this match wasn't outside of the ring between Roman and Seth. Roman and Seth match was all good. They spammed a lot of finishers, hit a lot of finisher stealing paybacks. Like it was fucking 2K26, is what it is. But the finish, I feel like, really got flubbed up, and they kind of lost the crowd there. So they lost the crowd with two things. They go into their mock shit. Crowd doesn't really care. They're like, who? Who the fuck is that guy? There's a bunch of WWE fans who are like, what the fuck is that? Whose moves are those that I'm supposed to be popping for? They were hoping for a moment like AJ fucking Cena. They didn't get that moment because fucking Mox is retired in their minds. They probably don't even think he wrestles anymore. And that just shows you how little of an effect like AEW has. Nobody even knew what the fuck they were alluding to other than like hardcore wackos and the Club PWT, right? And so we went from the PWT universe to Club PWT. Okay, guys? And then so the finish sequence, and this wasn't like the worst ass ever, but clearly like Seth missed the normal stomp. And then Roman started yelling shit at him. Then he stomped him. Then he goes to the top rope and goes for another stomp that he misses. And then it's 3 spears or whatever. The ref's down the whole time. They clearly miscommunicated something on that fucking finish. And it just sort of muddied it up. But the crowd was white hot for that whole match. They just sort of fucked up. They shouldn't have done the mock stuff. They should have just went into whatever bullshit I'm going to stomp and then miss a stomp and then spear, or whatever. And then I think maybe they would have had the crowd like peaked, because the crowd was like peaking before that mock shit. And yeah, overall, man, I rate this show a B-/C+, I guess. And last night's was an A-B+ for me. So it would be a B. So overall, in GPA standards, it would be a B rating overall for this year, which I think is fair. I think a B both nights. I had a good weekend, but it's not like blow me away. A-, A+. Holy fuck, my mind's blown moment. This was the greatest event of all time. WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania 18. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. It didn't quite have anything that took it over the top like that. I think B for both nights. Super fair from your boy Phil. Yeah, I think A- is fair for last night, though. Like, I had a hell of a time. I thought it was way better than some people give it credit to. I'm a big Brock Lesnar mark too, so that sort of lends itself to it.